What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 4 team builder against our good friend Jay and his UNC Wingulls in the aABL for Week 4. Jay's coming off of a tough loss to Dan, aka A-Drive, and I'm coming off of our first aABL win against Devin and the Detroit Decidueyes. So, yeah, let's run through Jay's team real quick here. He's got Tapu Koko, which is his Z user, Starmie, Tangrowth, Dragalge is his Z user, Gligar, Linoon, Kling Klang, which is his Z user, Mega Tyranitar, Hawlucha, Alolan Marowak, Volbeat, and Archeops. He has priority in Linoon with Extreme Speed, Hazard Setting in Dragalge with T-Spikes, Gligar with Stealth Rocks, Mega Tyranitar with Stealth Rocks, Alolan Marowak with Stealth Rocks, and Archeops with Stealth Rocks. He has removal options in Tapu Koko with Defog, Starmie with Rapid Spin, Gligar with Defog, Hawlucha with Defog, and Archeops with Defog. And he has two 4x weaknesses in Gligar to Ice and Tyranitar to Fighting. I'm not anticipating Volbeat or Archeops to come. I think they both have poor matchups. Linoon's a maybe for me because I have some stuff that can go up really well against it. Kling Klang is a maybe for me because it walls certain threats on my team, but also gets absolutely bodied by some other things, e.g. Girder, e.g. Incineroar, e.g. Nidoking. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on with me. You'll notice that Minior is not coming this week. Unfortunately, Minior looked like it had a fairly poor matchup, especially with something like a Tapu Koko on the enemy team. But you'll notice that Venomoth is coming, and that is kind of a new, cool toy that we get to play with. But anyways, I digress. Let's move on to Aselgor. The Aselgor is a, it's a suicide lead for me this week, running the Final Gambit, Water Shuriken, T-Spikes, and Spikes. As long as Dragalge doesn't show up, I can set up a T-Spike, and assuming his Starmie is not Natural Cure, then I'm getting at least one thing poisoned, which could be very useful. Spikes are also really useful against this team, and I know how he likes to play, and I know how he likes to play around hazards. Max HP to get the most out of our Final Gambit, 120 attack to get some more out of our Water Shuriken, and we're running 136 speed to outrun the Tapu Koko, if he's a max speed Tapu Koko, which he won't be, but just in case he is for some reason. I would imagine his Koko's speed creeping my Weavile, if anything. Or he could speed creep my Minior as well. I'm not entirely. He could speed creep my Minior creeping Hawlucha or something like that. I'm not, because if I brought Minior, it'd have to be like almost max speed to deal with Hawlucha anyways. So, anyways, that's kind of where we're at with the Aselgor. Next up's Phantom or Dusclops. This is a physically defensive check to Hawlucha and the Linoon, primarily. Pain Split to get some health back, Will-O-Wisp to burn his physical attackers, which he has a lot of, I might add. Curse is there, and on a Ghost type, it deals damage instead of boosting, and Mean Look to trap things, and then Curse trap them in, basically. In week 1, I brought a set that Jay designed, which was a Mean Look Nightshade trapping set with Pain Split, I think. It was like Toxic or something with Nightshade and Mean Look or something like that. I ended up dealing with Arachnid relatively well. This time I'm bringing a Curse trapping set, which I've seen on Decidueye before. Physically defensive again to check Linoon and the Hawlucha. This Nidoking is primarily our Tapu Koko answer. We're bringing an Assault Vest variant with Earth Power, Sludge Wave, Sucker Punch, and Ice Beam. Sucker Punch, you wouldn't see on a Life Orb set because you take damage from it. Earth Power, Sludge Wave both hit quite a lot of his team. I believe Sludge Wave is there mostly for the Tangrowth, which is his main Earth Power switch-in. His other Earth Power switch-ins are Gligar, Hawlucha, and Archeops, which all get bodied by Ice Beam. So Earth Power is a relatively safe click this week. He's got a reasonable ground plus ice weakness on his team, actually, because Tangrowth doesn't want to take an Ice Beam either. So the combination of Ice Stab and Ground Stab is really good against his team. It's obviously not Ice Stab, but it's coverage. We're running a tiny bit of speed on the Nidoking to be able to speed creep over min-speed Gligar. Outside of that, we are max special attack with max HP to get more out of our Assault Vest, boosting our speed up a little bit. Next up is Venomoth, which is just a Life Orb sweeper set. Really wish I could run a Z move on this thing because then I could blow back Tapu Koko with the Tinted Lens Buginium Z move, but we're running a Quiver Dance setup set with Bug Buzz, Psychic, and Sludge Bomb. Psychic is there to hit the Hawlucha, and I believe that's the only thing that it's hitting. Hawlucha and Dragalge. Sludge Bomb is there for the Tapu Koko pretty much only, exclusively. and Bug Buzz hits everything else really well. Sorry. Running Timid max speed, which ties the Kling Klang. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with tying the Kling Klang. It doesn't really matter because I can't hit the Kling Klang super well, but Tinted Lens, Bug Buzz could do quite a lot of damage. Max special attack with 4 in defense, just kind of there. Next up is Mega Gardevoir. We're bringing a relatively utility Mega Gardevoir set but he has relatively poor Hyper Voice switch-ins. Kling Klang and Alola Marowak are his only 2 Hyper Voice switch-ins, and neither of them really wants to take a Shadow Ball. I don't think Alola Marowak wants to switch in on the Hyper Voice plus a Shadow Ball. Kling Klang could be a problem. I have Destiny Bond on there in case something's slower than me and it will kill me the next turn, then I can take it down with me. Will-O-Wisp to burn a physical attacker that might want to switch in, who knows. We're running Synchronize actually over Trace because I think that he would want to run some status moves to deal with Dusclops. He has a few knockoff options, and I'm not sure if they would run knockoff is kind of what I'm thinking. I think he might run some burning tech. He could run some burn tech. He could run toxic on a few things. I'm thinking that he might run toxic on a few things to deal with like Dusclops or something like that potentially. So we have the Synchronize there. I don't really need the Trace because I'm going to stay in likely. Otherwise, running Trace to get the Tangros Regenerator could be really useful. Or the Halucha's Unburden, but you know, we can't lose our Mega Stone. So 176 speed lets us outspeed Kling Klang, which is, again, I think one of his main ways to deal with me. After Shift Gear, Kling Klang outspeeds my entire team, and it could be a threat. Starmie is actually a huge threat to this team as well, by the way, as well as Mega Tyranitar if it's Dragon Dance variant, so we have to watch out for all of those in the battle. I'm sure I'm going to lose, but it doesn't really matter. Max Special Attack with a little bit of HP, and last but not least is Incineroar. We're bringing a Rocky Helmet Intimidate set with Darkest Lariat, U-Turn, Knockoff, and Drain Punch. Didn't feel I needed fire coverage against his team necessarily. I think Drain Punch covers the things that might be Fire Weak anyways, and also Darkest Lariat hits quite a few of the Fire Weak things as well. Knockoffs there primarily because of Gligar. I'm only running 1 ice coverage move for it. I've got some water coverage on the Estelgor, and it's not really going to like a Tinted Lens Bug Buzz, but outside of that, or a neutral Hyper Voice, but outside of that, I felt that Knockoff is really good to get rid of any items. U-Turn is there for momentum. I love having U-Turn, and my team is primarily built around Volturn in the first place, and so I'm actually only bringing 1 U-Turner this week, which is very strange, but that's how it worked out, I guess. Drain Punch, primarily for the Mega Tyranitar, but again, also hits things like the Tangrowth. Darkest Lariat's going to hit it better, obviously, but I don't know. Yeah, Max Attack, Adamant with Max HP and 8 Defense. So that is the team. We take on Jay in week 4, and I will catch you guys for the battle.